For those now, man. Good evening and welcome to our San Antonio FC pregame show. We've got a new guest with us here tonight. Excited to have him on. Unfortunately, Steven Anderson couldn't join us this evening, but Royce the Voice, aka at 6 tweet under. How are you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing all right. Excited about the game, about the match. A little bit, extending the normalcy, even though we're in a crazy time right now. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to having a couple hours of not thinking about anything and just yelling at my TV again.
Well, we're excited to have you on this evening, man. Always happy to share your thoughts and everything. I was trying to think of a description for you, and we kind of said like you were the private investigator for San Antonio FC, like the unaffiliated reporter that like always tweeting the facts before anybody else. So I'm happy that you were able to join us tonight, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then Jonathan joining us tonight via a photo. It's going to be a talking picture there of him, but just having some video issues. So as always, man, thanks for joining us tonight and everything, and happy to get your insights. How are you doing this evening? Jonathan, can we...
No problem. Thanks.
Can you hear us okay?
It's just kind of...
Scott, check the chat.
Say, as always, thanks for having me on. And I spared our audience some time garbled. So, are you guys not hearing me at all?
We got you.
Oh, we got you, buddy. No, you sound good. You sound good. We can hear you just fine.
Okay. You guys were asking.
So apparently, I just got a message that we're having some issues.
So,
the video's not up on YouTube.
To the audience, you're welcome
live.
if you don't have to see my face.
All
The
right.
good news is I don't think it's live yet here.
It says it's live, and we've been live for 3.5 minutes.
Well then.
Bear with us for just a second as we try and verify that we're not having... Yeah, no, we're live, Harry. I don't know what you're talking about. I can see us right now, right here, looking.
All right.
We're definitely live.
It says
Much
it's
like
live,
the
and we've been live
San
for
Antonio
3.5
FC offense.
All right, so let's get into the
All
show
right.
here. If we can mute the audio now. So sorry about that. Rafa also joining us tonight. We were joking that he was going to be referred to now as we try and verify that we're not having. Is somebody like sharing their audio still?
That was all right.
Is it over yet? Did you stop?
Usual suspect.
All right, so let's get into the show here. If we can mute the audio now. So sorry about that. Rafa
You should be
also
good. Go,
joining us
Rafa.
tonight. We were joking that he was going to be referred
Just
to now
ready for
as,
tonight, ready for the derby. So we'll
is
see
somebody-
how it goes. We'll save the best for right now. We'll get to discuss the game.
Yep. So that's what we're going to talk about. For let's just jump right into it, man. After that awkward introduction, earlier in the week we heard that Austin Bold had some players that tested positive for COVID. So one of the first things that we kind of wanted to talk about was just Harry. I'll let you kind of take it away first. But with the news that Chris Bills released and everything else earlier in the week about the players testing positive and kind of some of the questions around who was really pushing for this game to be played that we raised on our pregame show. Tell us a little bit, man, what your thoughts were about the news leading up to the match.
Well, first of all, thoughts and prayers to the Bold organization, and hope that the players come back in a timely and safe manner and no long-term effects. However, Chris Bills put out a tweet, just 6 hours ago saying that the Bold had 5 players test positive for COVID in July, including 2 last week. No new cases for this week, which is good news. However, the interesting part is that they only have 14 players that were available as of Thursday. And from my understanding, that was the first time that they've been on the pitch in probably a week or so for that here. So the discussion was, should the game be played, for that here. And Chris Bills is reporting that the Bold wanted to push the game back, which would have been their 3rd game that they've canceled. And according to Chris Bills reporting, who's one of the best here in Central Texas, South Texas with Austin, said that it's SAFC that's pushing it through. And I know for me that there's two thoughts to it. One, I understand why SAFC is doing it, just because if you look at their schedule, it's really backloaded. They only have maybe 2 weeks where you could see them cramming another game in. The other issue is, the goal is to win the games, and, no offense to the Bold, but if you can take advantage of them being a little bit thin, why not? For that here. But to me, that also comes with a huge risk of what happens if SAFC players test positive from this game. And that's, to me, that's the question.
And that's going to be the question, and only time will tell, unfortunately, in that regard. But also, too, Royce, I want to ask you your thoughts on that, but I jumped ahead a little bit. Forgive me. Also wanted to get yours and Jonathan's input on the match versus RGV and that 1-0 win. Give me just a couple key takeaways that maybe you had after that game.
It was interesting seeing the San Antonio offense go against a really bunkered down RGVFC, and to see how they try to counteract that. They didn't really have a lot going forward because they just kept getting back down, and RGV had all their players back, and it was real tough to go through. And how they ended up getting through finally is that their defensive midfielder had the ball and he was all by himself. All the RGV players pressed up because they were having a lot of joy on the offensive side. So they thought they could push up. They felt comfortable. And then you got Perano and Dorenzo come and press them, steal the ball, score right after the second half started. So that was really good. It was really good to see that that was probably one of those clear instructions. Hey, this guy's going to get the ball, try to distribute it, go attack him, and it worked out. I thought it was good. Once again, another frantic last 10-15 minutes, which is a little frustrating, but at the same rate, when you're going to have a lead, you're going to get attacked like that. But they need to work on that counter. A counter comes along as the season goes. So that's something that we'll see develop. And definitely when we have fresher legs, like, probably going to have Gallegos up front for Perano to get some fresh legs in there. They'll be a little bit, a little bit quicker, a little bit fresher legs for that counter. So looking forward to that in this match, which we're most likely going to come against a very bunkered Bold team.
Jonathan, Perano now with 1 goal, 1 assist, in his 2 games back since his injury and everything at the beginning of the season. What were some of your takeaways, from that match versus RGV, and where did they maybe exceed some of your expectations?
Well, obviously everyone knows Perano is going to be a danger, and he's proving that already this season, these 2 games back after he was injured for the very first one. But something... we saw with the way the goal happened last Saturday, it's not just Perano working with the ball, but it's the way he wins it back. And that's something that head coach Alan Marcina and his teammates have praised him for, is his work when SAFC doesn't necessarily have the ball. So hopefully, he's objectively a fantastic player to watch, and we're so lucky that we get to see it. But it's also, I ended up scrapping this for my own match preview, but Perano is one of only 3 goal scorers so far this season. He is the guy that everyone's probably going to focus on, but the wealth is being spread around, and he showed last week, again, he's happy to do sort of the tougher work and assist his teammates rather than doing the scoring himself.
So, Rafa, let's talk about the forwards a little bit before we get into that first topic again and finally kind of get the show going now that we're getting into a flow of things. Forwards, we talked about on our show, on Wednesday, have kind of been an issue, it seems like, a little bit for San Antonio FC this season. Do you expect we see maybe a lighting of the torch tonight by them, or do you expect them to be more involved in this matchup tonight?
They're gonna have to, be more active today. What I've seen the last 2 games, they've haven't really kind of pressured up front, and create chances and so forth. So this is the game that they're gonna take advantage of because since Austin Bold might not have any, very little subs to substitute that defense is gonna wear out. Even if they play the best, they're gonna wear out. So they're gonna have to really help, play a lot of ball passes, through balls, and so forth. Just wear them out, and sooner or later they're gonna get through. And hopefully, there the goals start falling through, and we get a lopsided victory tonight.
And we'll get into those keys to victory here in just a little bit, but also I wanted to give you a chance, Royce. Harry kind of touched on it a little bit earlier about the news of just the 5 Austin Bold players testing positive, kind of a thin roster right now. Then trying to maybe push back the game and delay the game. What are your thoughts on the match still being played? Anything you would add?
You have to understand it from SAFC's point of view. Harry brought up a really good point. SAFC's bye week was the first week, so they're really going in and they're not going to have any weeks off. They're already going to play a couple times where they play 3 matches in 1 week or 7 or 8 days. So imagine adding another match in that congested period. It would be like an English Premier League team during the New Year and Boxing Day, the year schedule, which is always tough on them. And at the same rate, blood's in the water. Austin Bold may not have all their players available. I know one of their players that was a loanee from North Texas got called back up, so they had to sign another player who's a homegrown. I say that it's not MLS, whatever. Hometown kid in Austin to join the roster. The article on him was really raving, but you never really know until you see something in the field. So,
sure.
So we'll see how that goes.
Gotcha.
And I shouldn't have to say it. It's a scary time. It's a pandemic. We have to be safe. Major League Baseball, for all the money they have and everything, they can't avoid it. A lot of Cardinals, Marlins are sick. Some Philadelphia Phillies. It's just getting worse. And my thoughts and prayers are to the Bold, obviously, but to everybody else in the league, because it's crazy. I mean, they always put it out on the line for us to entertain us and for themselves for the glory, but mainly for us. And now it's really, they're really laying it out on the line, and I really respect that. And I only hope the best for all the players.
Amen. Well said. Jonathan, anything you would add in that regard? I mean, not to beat a dead horse or anything like that, but any other perspective that you would bring?
I would say, we were talking about having to reschedule that game for SAFC wouldn't be ideal. But Austin has already postponed 2 and wanted to postpone another. This is just kind of something that we're going to have to get used to if we actually want to persist with this season. You're going to have matches postponed, and I mean, we've already had to restructure the schedule once so that, we could adapt for taking 3-4 months off. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the season extending beyond even the new predicted, final match day. So.
Well, we're going to have a match day, and that's already been decided. So, you feel like the USLPA and the USL would work together on situations like this, just regarding the safety of the players and everything else. But one of the things that we talked about, last week was the goalie gate or whatever that we always seem to have here with San Antonio FC. So, Rafa, I'll let you start off first, man. What did you think of St. Clair's performance last match versus his first game against RGV? And then who do you think starts in goal tonight? Do you think we might see our first Fear the Beard?
St. Clair did a better job this game, I think. Off and getting in the game speed and so forth.
There he is.
Some of the little mistakes he made. He was pressured early until one of the RGV players got hurt, and that kind of back, and he didn't see much from the RGV, offense, kind of test him a bit. So like I said, I think he's improving. He's going to get better. He's just got to work a lot better on his footwork, reaction to the balls. I think he did a little bit better on corner kicks this time, but we'll see if he gets the nod again tonight. But I think for this game, I think I'll go with the beard. I'll go with Matt. It's an important game. It's a road game. It's a rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got. If you remember last year, Matt didn't play the game in Austin.
Right.
So
the first.
I think Matt. For me, I think I want to see who's better between him or Diego. Like I said, I think Matt has something to prove, and I think giving him the opportunity tonight, and then like I said, he's done a great job anchoring the defense like he did in the Real Salt Lake game. So I'm hoping he gets to start tonight. That it is a long, like I said, quote unquote road trip, 3 games on the road. Let's start on the right foot is getting Matt on the field and getting these 3 points and coming and go on to the next in Oklahoma.
Harry, I want to give you a chance to respond to that. What were your thoughts on St. Clair's performance versus RGV in that second match, and what are your thoughts on maybe who starts in goal tonight?
So I think St. Clair did well, but I don't think it was the same pressure either. RGV, especially with was it Talberson that went down. They just didn't have the same attack, and you could tell they were 3 games in 7 days or whatever that it was for that here. So I don't think their attack was as good, but I did see he was catching the ball, he was clearing. His performance was good. There was nothing that you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I think he starts. I don't think you're in this sprint. I don't think you're flipping goalies unless you have to. I think they're going to roll with St. Clair. That's why he's down here, to get the minutes, and I think he's going to play unless his performance is just poor on the pitch.
Yep. And that's a great call out. Jonathan, what about you? What were your thoughts as far as, do you think there will be any kind of rotation, or do you think, to Harry's point, you kind of roll with your guy for a stretch?
Yeah, there's not much more that I can add. I agree with Harry and Royce. If St. Clair wasn't dropped after that first performance down in the Valley, then he's not going to be dropped after his performance last week. It was more solid, more reassuring, just had sort of a better control over what was going on in his box in front of his goal. So I don't, again, like Harry said, it's a sprint. And even if it's not a sprint, I don't think you want to change your goalkeeper too often. Just going to unsettle the team if you do.
And Royce, I know you sent out a tweet earlier in the week kind of about that RGV match and just how they were trying to channel some of their attack. Share with us a little bit about that, and just kind of what your thoughts were about St. Clair's performance.
Yeah, in the match, Mitch Taintor was the man of the match, and he had, the numbers back it up, and that's because he was the left side center back, and he was taking the responsibility for Taberson there on the right, which it was very obvious that RGB's game plan was, hey, we're going to attack on the right. That's where our strength is. That's where Taberson is. Unfortunately for them, Taberson pulled up lame during the game, and that's kind of when they just really started bunkering and absorbing the pressure and just trying to get out there with the draw. St. Clair, that first match, jitters. Everybody was jittery. It just wasn't a good match, and we were really lucky to get out of there with the draw. But at the same rate, that's kind of where we're at. As the season goes, I think they're going to get better.
It's a great
we
call
can't
out.
see training. We can't see training, and that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where Marcina and the staff, La Madrid, are probably watching and seeing. And the thing I was impressed with last week is St. Clair's distribution, which is one thing to watch for. He really distributes the ball well to the wings, and that's kind of why Maloney on one side, Smith on the other, distribute to them and go up the wings. And the bold really like to press in the middle, so that's going to be a really key thing, is that distribution out to the wings.
Well, you just
try to get around the bold.
You just transitioned perfectly into our next segment as far as keys to victory go. I think you just nailed it on the head there, man. To tell us a little bit more about that, what you think some of those important keys are going to be tonight versus the Bold, and what you'd like to see us do more of.
Okay. Keys of the match. I had to go back 2 weeks to see the latest Bold match,
Sure.
Which is on the 17th, so that's interesting. But it really looked like they had, back four, an attack that had a back four, two midfielders, and they like to press with their front four. And they're just a high pressure. Once you get past that front four, they're a little soft on the wings because the two midfielders are there, and that's how OKC ended up scoring all their goals. Is the first one was they attacked the left side, they got around the front four, went around them, did a little 1-2 into the goal. The second one, pretty much the same thing, except the guy cut in and got fouled for a penalty. And the third thing, very similar thing happened. So they're real weak on the wings. And that's something that SAFC has to take advantage of, is get past that front four and then go at them. But at the same rate, they're going to have to be really offensively strong to withstand that front four, because they are they're a really good front four with Guadrama, Forbes, Clever, and well, who knows who's going to start because their roster is very, very limited.
Sure.
But I think that's going to be the key is is just getting around that front four and how the offense goes, and at the same rate, defense just has to keep it up. Defense has been playing well. I would like to not have a heart attack in the last 10 to 15 minutes of this match, but
maybe get an insurance goal for once.
For once, yeah. Multiple goals. There you go. Yeah, there's your breaking news. Hey, score more than one goal, you have a better chance of winning.
That's what my coaches used to always tell me, but I don't know. So, Jonathan, what about you, buddy? What do you think are some of your keys to victory tonight for San Antonio FC, and what do you want to see them continue to grow upon? I know Royce just mentioned the speed on the wings. Do you think having maybe a mix of like Gallegos and Pirano could be what we need against a team like Austin?
Based on the goals we saw OKC score against them a couple weeks ago, you definitely want to attack them on the wings. And also, you have to consider, like we were saying, they hadn't trained in about a week leading into Thursday. So they've had a couple days to kind of get back, try and figure out that defense and, the entire shape of the team. So I think for SAFC, it's exploiting those, but also just take the game to Austin. Like I said, if they haven't been able to train, they're going to be
rusty.
And we saw that a little bit with San Antonio FC's first match. Now, I think we may just be having a little bit of audio issues there, so I'm sure that's okay.
Sorry.
You're good, man. No. And we heard you all the way up. I think you bring up a great point, Rafa. What are your thoughts as far as keys to victory? And we've talked about it week after week about it's kind of like who takes it to who first. Is that just going to be a common theme, you think, this season?
This game, you have to score first, especially with the lack of bench. Because if both scores first, you give them confidence that they're going to spark the bus and try to win a 1-0 game. And you don't want to go into that. So I think if we can score at least, like I said, 2 goals within the first 20 minutes, this game will be over because they're going to have to push up and attack, get up there. Don't be surprised the first 10 minutes you're going to see. Well, we started the game something like a 4-5-1 from Austin. If I'm Marcina going into this game, I switch it up. Pressure. Instead of playing that 3-5-2, let's go over the 4-3-3 and just go attack them. I think with 3 forwards up front, maybe with Gallegos and Pirano on the out front.
Taylor Renzo or Bailon in the middle.
Yeah, just to have them wear them out. Their speed. They're young enough to have the conditioning because, like I said, like Jonathan mentioned, they haven't practiced in the week. So if we can wear that defense out, we're gonna win this game. And like I said, and the goals will start falling a lot easier for the forwards. So I think that our keys is just being aggressive, get on them early, get the goal We got to go early and just press until just can't just run the towel.
Harry, I know last I checked, we had kind of a couple games in hand even. Another match here against a region rival, which all of these pretty much are going to be with Austin. What do you think are some keys to victory tonight, and how important is it maybe for San Antonio FC to get these 3 points and just leapfrog that much more in the table against the Austin Bold?
Well, they have to get these 3 points, and part of me thinks that they have to win convincingly. Because if you play this game with Austin being thin, and you lose or you tie, I would hate to be on social media after the game.
Wait a minute. Breaking news. If San Antonio FC ties or loses tonight, Harry's going to flame them on social media.
No, I said not.
Oh, okay.
But Harry is right. There's no reason to lose this game.
Which means they're going to lose it.
If you force the play knowing that the Bold are at a couple of disadvantages, which I understand playing that, and if you lay an egg and even tie against a thin, and I know it's away and I know it's a rivalry game,
but you have all the advantages.
They have the better roster.
You've played the last couple weeks.
You can't
knock the dust off.
Well, as far as for the standings, San Antonio's played 3 games. They're at first place with 7. The Energy's played 4. They're at 5. So
one in hand
and up 2 points.
Yep.
But the Bold have played 2 games and have 3 points. So this would be their 3rd game. So if they were able to win, that puts them right back. To me, back in the driver's seat. 1 point down with 1 less game played. Tulsa's at 2, but they've only played 2 games. They'll be playing RGV tonight. And RGV's already on their 6th game, sitting at 2 points. And I know, Coach Echeverry is, saying they need to get the 3 points for them for that here. But to me, like I said here, the change that I think that's going to happen is going to actually probably be on the back line. I think with Callum Montgomery back down here, I think just like, with St. Clair, you're putting them in. Now, I don't know who you're pulling out between Yaro and Borski. That I'm not sure, but I have to think if Montgomery's down here, he's down here to get minutes, and obviously he's a quality player. So I think with there, I'd like to see Rienzo pulled or input in Jose Gallegos in. For that here, those would be the 2 changes that I would. Haraval and PC in the midfielder solid. You got Blake and Maloney on the sides and the back, and just with the front, they got to be a little bit more creative. But to me, like I said here, I know I kind of joked it, during the show that 1-0 would be kind of how it is, because and like I could still see this being a low-scoring game if SAFC can't put shots on target. And Diego's a hell of a goaltender. We know that. So, you're going against one of the best goalies that's around, and despite me calling him a little bit out of shape earlier, a couple episodes ago, I expect to see his best going against San Antonio as always.
Except for that one we put 3 in him, 3 on him.
Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say, except the last match.
Just kidding. He is a quality keeper. So.
And a good dude to boot.
So let's get into the predictions then, guys. I'm trying to keep my eye out here to see about lineups. Hasn't been announced yet. We're still a little bit early for that. But Rafa, we talked a little bit about score predictions on the Wednesday on the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. What do you think now that with all this other news, is the 4-0, or me and Danielle a little bit more likely to win this poll, or you think you and Harry still got a shot?
I think mine's gonna be, like I said, mine was 2-0. I said on Wednesday. I'll put a little asterisk.
No asterisks. You're buying lunch. What are you talking about, man? There's no asterisks on that.
Like I said, hopefully we do. Like I said, we get the 2 goals right away. I think that just gets started. When it comes to being in group play, getting the 3 points, goal differential is going to be the key.
Mm-hmm.
We've only scored 3 goals all season in 3 games. That's not going to cut it. So this is the game to get at least 4 or 5 goals. We need to do it tonight. I know
Oh,
it's a tough thing to say, but they have to get at least that much to take advantage of what the situation is going on. Because we don't want to be a situation that we get beat out for home field because we didn't score a bunch of goals on these guys. Because you don't know what Oklahoma or Tulsa may do later on with playing them. So no, I picked 2-0. I'll stick to a little asterisk, but I can see a route. After that. So probably, like I said, Danielle probably end up getting her 4 or 5-0 tonight.
All right. Well, I saw your face there, Royce, when Rafa said 4 or 5. So one of the things we've kind of questioned, I'll phrase the question a little differently. One of the things we've kind of questioned on the roundtable is just whether or not we really have a finisher on San Antonio FC this year. If this is going to be another season, kind of like that 2017 season, where it's more of a committee approach that Harry brought up. What are your thoughts on predictions for tonight? Do you think that San Antonio FC has enough finishers to put 4 or 5 in a game like this?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to see Evan Guzman really just exploding and succeeding at heart rate. That's tough to see. But at the same rate, you can have Ever and Ferrano in there, and who knows what that would happen. But the reason they brought Lorenzo, the reason they brought Solniak, and the reason they brought Bailone is to be big men in the middle, to be hold-up guys, and to distribute to Gallegos and Ferrano.
Yes.
And those are your stars. They're trying to exploit that. They're bringing them along. They're saying, hey, if you get a big forward, and that's why you have older, experienced guys to distribute, so you go. And that's what happened, except, last game, Ferrano distributed to Lorenzo, and he scored the goal. I mean, goals are hard to score. I'm not going to say it's lucky.
He buried it. It wasn't lucky. He buried it low and hard. Like that. Absolutely. That's what you do. You put it on frame. You put it low. You put it high, and stuff happens. Like that's what we talk about when you get chances like that. Stuff happens.
Exactly. And Dan Weiss totally didn't say great save. Oh wait, no, it's a goal. Yeah, but that's the whole point, is that they're trying to exploit Gallegos,
Ferrano.
These are your stars.
PC, maybe some of those, you get them mixed in. So let me ask you this, because I totally agree with you. Not so much De Lorenzo last match, but Bailone, the first couple matches that we've seen now with him. Do you feel like he has that ability? Because I feel like that's kind of the expectation of him. And so far, he hasn't really been able to fulfill that role very well in terms of distributing the attack. But at the same time, they haven't had numbers forward.
Right. Well, another big thing is, and I don't think it's the game. In the Royce Alvarez power rankings, the RA power rankings.
Yes.
For forwards.
Next week's segment.
And correct. The difference in the breakdown is going to be what kind of game is it. The last 2 games we saw, RGB bunkered, and SAFC had to go through them, and that's what's been tough. And how you go through them is you get short, fast guy, a la, what are we gonna call him? Like San Antonio Messi, Ferrano, just busting through them. And I mean that's what he did the first time. The first one was Solniak, just a glancing header, and set Ferrano free. The defense bit, and it's exactly what I'm saying. We get the big experienced target forward to distribute, and then Ferrano goes and scores. That was the perfect goal. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And then in the second game, not a lot happened, but you had Lorenzo and Ferrano playing off of each other. So Lorenzo and Ferrano will play off of each other. Lorenzo is a scoring forward. Solniak is a holding forward. So it depends on what you're looking for. Bailone, I don't know what he is. All I know is his left foot will kill somebody, because that dude has a damn howitzer for a left foot. So
outside.
Yeah.
Is he that outside shooter?
Definitely a threat from the outside. And
I'm just curious to still understand kind of what his role continues to evolve to be.
I got the lineups
I don't know
here.
what it is yet.
I got
Awesome.
the lineups here.
Lineups are up.
Harry's on it.
St. Clair, Maloney, Tainter, Yarrow, Montgomery, Smith, PC, Gallegos, Pirano, Solinak, and Di Lorenzo. So
2 forts.
Gallegos pulled out for Haraval.
Yep. So you have Gallegos and Ferrano attacking.
5-3-2. 5-3-2.
Wow. Yep.
So there it is.
Bold still hasn't released theirs, so
that's going to be Gallegos up on the left and Ferrano up on the right, and then PC in the middle. So PC will not be helping on the wings. That dude is set in the middle because he will not empty that.
Pekka tonight, right?
He will be the true 6. He's going to stand right the heck in front of. I'm going to say Montgomery's going to be the. No, actually.
He'll be the holy mid because.
Yeah, he'll be the 6. Yeah, he'll be right in front of Montgomery. I think it's going to be Montgomery, Yara to the right, and then Tinktor to the left.
He'll be on the wings. But that's a key there. They got to push those guys up and send crosses in.
Yep, that'll be interesting. Well, what I think is going to happen is you're going to attack from the wings, bring it into Solniak, and then Solniak will distribute to Gallegos and Ferrano on the sides. Hope the Austin Bowl aren't watching, but that's exactly what's probably going to happen.
This could be a 4-0 game, I feel like, with all that firepower. That's a high offense
normally
approach.
Marcina has 2 defensive midfielders. He has 2 attacking midfielders instead. So they're out for blood.
They are.
So they really do they sense the blood in the water.
Yep, they want this game.
So, Rafa may be in the money today, so we'll see.
No, Rafa's he only has 2-0. It's me and Danielle that are on the higher end of the spectrum. But all right. So let's go ahead, Rafa. We know you're still locked into 2-0, but Harry, any final thoughts or match day predictions? Any changes, obviously, to that 1-0 prediction that you had locked in earlier in the week?
Well, obviously, I doubt this game ends 1-0. If it ends 1-0.
Something's wrong.
I don't know if San Antonio is the one that's got the one.
I'm going to step in. I'm going to step on your shoes there, Harry. Austin Bold's starting lineup is up. They have 13 players. So their bench is a whole 4 players. Let's see. Starting Diego, obviously. Looks like their typical, 17-5. Their typical back line is there. Baez is there. I do not see Kleber. Forbes is up front. And I do not see Guadrama. And they're just not on. So Guadrama and Kleber did not make the 18,
roster,
which is 13.
That's
13.
2 huge losses.
That's 2 huge losses for them.
That's only 2 subs they have on their bench.
And that no, there's 4 subs.
There's 4 on the bench.
Ryan Thompson, Omar Cease, Thomas. You would have me say the
Okay,
names.
then they've got 15.
Benton.
Then they've got 15 players, right?
Oh yeah, 11. I'm thinking 9.
Yeah, I was like, where's my math wrong here, Royce? Because either
15.
they only got like 2
That's
subs.
like U7, U8 level there, buddy.
You know what? Now, I'm in baseball. I'm in
Yeah,
baseball.
there
It's
you
9
go.
on the field.
There-
9 on the field.
We'll
There
ignore
you go.
that. Everything else you've
There you
said
go.
tonight has been spot on, and we've really enjoyed it. So we'll just move right along, man. Any predictions or any other final thoughts for the game tonight?
But no, SAFC should be able to keep a clean sheet with these. Now we don't have film or anything along these lines, but I think with the back line, the defense that we have, assuming that there's not a funny red card or anything along those lines, which is one of those wild cards
Sure.
that you never know. But I would expect a comfortable win. However, I will say this: the longer this game goes 0-0, the more pressure's on SAFC and not the Bold, in my opinion, to be able to do this.
100%.
Great point. What about you, Rafa? Any final match day predictions or final thoughts for the show?
There's no room for error tonight, especially with that lineup. So you're going for the kill, and that's what they need to do. If you don't get the kill tonight, Marcina's got a lot of explaining to do.
Got some explaining to do.
With that roster that the Bull have, missing Lima and Guadarrama, there's no excuse. There's no excuse tonight not to get the 3 points and at least get more than 2 goals.
Because Guadalajara's a huge part of their offense, a huge part. To me, he's their Pirano. He controls a lot on there. Without him on there, Billy's Billy. When he's on, he's on. He's one of the best. But
that's a great point.
There's just to me, you can kind of single him out a little bit.
Sure.
For that here, but I
Handle
don't
that
know
threat.
how they're going to go up the middle. That's the huge question.
Yeah, Guadrama and Kleber combine well. Billy's Billy. Billy will.
He's gonna take it to the line. He's gonna shoot with his left. He's got
Billy
that one little.
Billy will literally start from Florida and just run all the way to California and score.
And score a goal. And to Harry's point, though, sometimes he's very successful at it. So always a threat. People have known kind of what that looks like for a long time, and he still continues to find success with it. So hopefully, obviously not tonight against us. No offense to Billy, but
for sure.
Royce, what are your final match game predictions? Any final thoughts, buddy?
Prediction. I'm a pessimist. I mean, let's be real. I'm a pessimist. Let's go with 1-1, a surprising one. I hope that doesn't happen. I do not have a meal on the line, so I will not say exactly what I think is going to happen. But I think it's going to be 1-1. SAFC will get an early goal. They'll kind of rest on it, and then the ball it'll be like the RGB again, where we're like, what's happening? But I hope the offense gets. I mean, it is a very attacking lineup. I'm excited, but we'll see what happens.
Well, my prediction for tonight's game is that Jose Gallegos gets 2 goals. So I think he's going to have 2. But other than that, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Royce, thank you so much for coming on. Like I say, it's always great, man, just to see your stuff that you put out there on Twitter and everything, and some really cool insights and everything from an avid San Antonio FC fan, and even some of the stuff that you put out, man, with the weather and the flight stuff that you follow is pretty cool as well. So just to nerd out on. But this has been another episode of the San Antonio FC pregame show. Apologize to Jonathan. I think he was having some audio issues and had to drop off, but we were talking before the show about some things that he was trying to do before the next one, just for overall purposes, not just the pregame show. So we'll get him back on, and hopefully Steven back on next week, and maybe Aaron Marvel, who's also a great follow for San Antonio FC News. So we appreciate those of you guys who have watched our pregame show. Harry will be running the Zoom watch party here in a little bit for the match. And let's defend 2-10. Let's go get those 3 points. This is the San Antonio FC pregame show. What's life without goals? We out.
Go, boys.